Welcome back. On today's video, we're talking about another fractional investing platform, and this one's a little bit unique. This is Sonomo.com. And what Sonomo.com does is it allows you to invest in music royalties, or the future revenues from music that artists have put on this platform. So jumping right in, if you go to Sonomo.com, it brings you up to this page, and you get a lot of good information from the front page. It's not just like a lot of them, it's just kind of a splash landing page that they give you a bunch of pitches and a bunch of details. This page has a lot of good information on it. And if you look right in here, you'll see that what they're touting, at least, is the median portfolio yield from royalty dividends since the investor started is 27%. Now, something to keep in mind, the average S&P return is around 11%, give or take, depending on the time frame that you look at. If they're promising a 27% or pitching a 27%, I categorize this as high risk. Music royalties by nature are going to have a lot of cyclical natures to them, or a lot of cyclicality. So if you're going to invest in music royalties or any asset that is not correlated to something that is more common, bonds, stocks, and good solid portfolios, expect some risk. To get a 27% return, that is generally a very high risk category. They're talking about having over $3.5 billion in assets under management. That's a lot. That's a lot of assets. And they say they have active, or $2 million or 2 million active trades in the past 12 months. So most of you, including myself until recently, have probably never heard of Sonomo. This is a company out of the Netherlands, and it goes through a lot of good information. We're not going to cover it a lot. If you're interested in doing this type of investing, keep in mind this is not investment advice any way whatsoever. This is me sharing experiences with a platform that I have tried. I do not have a lot in this platform. I'm just testing it out, just dabbling a little bit, because like some of you, I am curious about royalty investing, and music royalties are one of the largest forms that I have seen. So they talk about having adjusted risk profiles. We'll get into that here in a little bit. Monthly dividend distribution. We'll get into that also more in a little bit, because it's not exactly what you may expect. You can even trade shares, so you're not locked in once you buy something. They'll talk about different baskets, and these are something that you'll see when we get in here, so we won't touch these too much. It talks about being able to invest in Sonomo confidently, and they have contracts apparently with record labels, with individual artists. You can trade your own and you get paid monthly, kind of. Talks about the different type of people that can invest, individuals or institutions. It works directly with artists. And then they've got a good Q&A section that I would highly recommend going through if you're going to invest in this platform. So if you do, once you sign into Sonomo, it'll bring you into this type of a platform called your dashboard. And you have several tabs across the top: dashboard, portfolio, orders, royalties, trading, P&L. This is a new one, and your wallet, as well as you have the ability to deposit funds, invite, and then you've got your standard account type stuff over here. And under your standard account stuff over here, which I'm not going to click into, but it will bring you to a page like this that talks about your historical yield and your top contributing assets to what you're dealing with. So again, in my portfolio, and I have been a member of Sonomo, or I joined Sonomo less than a year ago, this is your future yield, your estimated. And this is based on what they have seen historically, based on these songs that you own a piece of, projected out over the next 12 months. So Sonomo is anticipating that I will earn an anticipated 16.13%. Now, when I first signed up for Sonomo, it was touting about that on a monthly basis. So you have to see that this is very cyclical, and sometimes projections will be higher than others. My portfolio value is 199 euros. Yes, everything on this site is done in euros. You have to fund it, and the funds that you transfer in will be converted to euros if you're in one of the applicable countries. And then they'll give you a realized P&L. This is a new thing, and it will be realized once I sell everything that I have purchased, because you have not actually earned anything until you sell it, regardless of what it says it is worth on paper. And then my wallet balance, this is everything that I've got that I can actually either pull out or that I can spend on their platform. Something unique that Sonomo does is, instead of just having songs, they do offer individual songs on a very limited basis from what I've seen that you can buy. They have these baskets, And baskets are a pool of songs that every purchaser then owns a share of the basket, and the individual songs contribute to the basket, and they seem to be more stable as far as returns. So this particular one, the UGC, user generated content soundtracks, has a monthly yield of 1.17%. Monthly, that's not too bad. If we annualize that, let's go ahead and bring up a calculator here. 1.17 times 12 would be a 14% annual return. Not terrible. Adjusting for risk, it may not actually be worthwhile. The Great Composite has a 0.99% yield. I want to say that was actually significantly higher recently. Lindsay's Cash Cow, you can see these are all different portfolios that they have. They show you the number of songs they contain and the monthly yield for each of those. Just looking here shortly, and I haven't actually been into the Sonomo platform for a few weeks, it looks like these yields have been adjusted down. Most of them were, I believe, over 1% until recently. The next thing you can do is look at individual songs. This is just a sampling. This is showing the newest editions. And you'll be able to click into one of these songs if you are interested in purchasing it. And you can see it brings up this here, and it gives you a preview of the song.
Let's get there now.
And then you can decide if that sounds like a song that you want to buy. You can also click on the trade button, and that will, let me get rid of this little piece here. You can see over here, of course, the trading information. You can buy. If you own shares, you can sell. You can click on whether you want to choose the market or specify a price, kind of like a limit option in the stock market or in some of the other trading platforms for real estate. And then you can specify the price that you want to buy. If you have the money in your account, it will go ahead and take it out and try to complete the trade right then. If you do not, it'll have to wait a few days for the money to clear. If you're trading on a secondary market, or if you're doing a limit price, then they have to find someone on the other side of the transaction that's willing to let it go for the price that you want to pay for it. Key Metrics gives you the monthly yield for the current month you're in. They have these little information buttons on most of the categories, and it allows you to understand a little bit better what you're doing. The ex-dividend date, if you're familiar with bonds or stocks that have that, generally a stock, if they have a dividend, will have an ex-dividend date. That means you have to own that stock by that date to participate in the dividend or to receive the dividend. On this particular one, if you own the stock or own the share by September 30th, 2024, at the next payout, you will receive that dividend. That's the important piece that I was mentioning earlier about dividends paid monthly. They are, but only kind of. So in this example, in this example, if you were to buy it by September 30th, 2024, the payout date would be December 15th. So you're actually waiting till mid next quarter, till the end of next quarter almost, to be able to receive your dividend. So if you're in this long term, probably not a big deal, but just understand that you don't receive the dividends monthly, you receive them months down the road for the prior month. So you could receive them monthly had you been in the share that long, but you're not necessarily going to receive it the month after you buy the stock. It shows you who the artists are, and it's kind of cool. You're actually dealing with individual artists who may be wanting to generate some revenue. They may want to monetize their music quicker than otherwise. They may be using this as a marketing tool, a way to get the word out on who they are and what they're doing. It shows you the release date, popularity, the duration of the song, is it explicit or not, the number of tracks. It was released in this individual case as a single versus an album. And you can even see some of the top owners. Kind of cool. Let's go back up. I want to do this and look at one of the baskets, so that you can also have a feel for what the baskets are, what they consist of. So this particular one, called the Great Composite, it's supposedly a collection of sleeper hits. The monthly yield is 0.99%. Unfortunately, it only gives us a limited look back, but if we look back on a 1-year period, we can see that the payouts have been semi-consistent. Yes, they fluctuated within a range, but it's been within a pretty tight range. 6 months, 3 months, it's all been fairly consistent. It looks like it is anticipated to go down somewhat over the next few months. Probably better to show that it's going down versus up. And a 1% monthly yield, or a 0.99% monthly yield, for an annual almost 12% yield. It contains 685 songs by 58 artists from around the globe. And again, pretty much the same information that you would see before. And you can see that I do own one share of this, and I paid $135, and I paid, it looks like $136. The share price is currently at $135. When we go over to my portfolio, you'll see that this does actually show a positive return, and that is in part because it pays out dividends. So overall, we are receiving dividends. And I believe that we can even reinvest in this. That's something that I'll have to look, reinvest your dividends. So you get more information about the portfolio, the contributions and the diversity of the songs, all the songs that are in the portfolio you can look through, the genres, the platforms that it is generating revenue from, which is kind of cool. It includes Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, Pandora, Deezer. So you can see that it is not just a single platform monetization model. And then again, you get into the owners of the platform. So a pretty cool model overall, allowing you to get into different baskets, different buckets, different genres, different types of music, and generate some revenue from it. Hopping into my specific portfolio, so here we go, you'll see that we've got the Great Composite, the market value, you saw that I paid around 136. It says the current market value is 141. That is a little bit concerning because if I come over here, when we were looking at it, okay, that's why, because my portfolio, my position I put in at 135. So that's okay. So it's now selling at about $141 a share. You can see that I've received 4.65 euros in dividends. I also have the Fast Composite, that's another basket. The share price on that particular one is $45. And you can see that that one has popped up quite a bit since I purchased it. So it's telling me I have actually a 152% return on that in less than 12 months. That's not too terrible. Let you down, this is an individual song. So if we come into this individual song, you can see you're trading at 52 cents a share on that particular song. On these, however, on the songs, I'm finding that you are usually limited on the number of shares that you can own. So on this particular one, they only will allow me to purchase 10 shares in that song, and I've purchased those at 40 cents a share. It's currently at 52 cents a share, so not too shabby. It looks like we're actually gaining some interest, but because you can only buy so many shares and it's very limited, you're never going to really take up a huge position in that song. And again, you've got different key metrics, so it's kind of a cool platform. It allows you to go in to trade different music pieces. You can only really generate a large position in the baskets from what I've seen. So for example, you can see on a lot of these the maximum number of shares is 10. You can only purchase 10, and that doesn't really amount to anything, especially if the market value is 20 cents a piece. You got a $2 max on that. And this particular song, you can see I paid about 20 cents a share. The current price is 2 cents per share, so it's telling me I've lost about 23% on that one. And that's okay. We didn't have a large position. But as I've mentioned, this is, in my opinion, a high-risk model. I don't know much about the underlying company, Sonomo. If they were to go out of business, their FAQs say that they will sell all the assets and distribute those to the investors. What does that mean? Well, it means they could do a fire sale and you get nothing. It just covers their costs. Is it an intriguing platform? Absolutely. Do I trust it with a large position? Not yet. I don't know enough about it. But so far, it has been very user-friendly. They let you track all of the orders that you've made. They let you see what's going on. For example, you can see I've got a share or a purchase price here for one share at $3.20 called Because You Love Me. It has not hit yet. It has not executed yet because the share price is actually higher. I just put it in as a limit order, and that particular one has been going up, and that's okay. It's one of those where I can cancel my order and go after something else. Like any open market, there's going to be fluctuations in price, and if you're patient and you feel like the value needs to come down, you can wait for it to come down. If you feel like it's going up, you may want to purchase it and sell it higher. These are all cool things that you can do on Sonomo.com as long as you understand the risks. This is the royalties that have been paid out over time, and you can see that they've actually popped up here in August, and the projections are somewhat higher. If we go out to a 1-year period, they're doing more future projections starting again in June of 2024. So it's not really showing me the historical payouts. And a lot of that is because I put a little bit, most of what I got in when I bought this, it was earlier this year, and because you have to wait about 3 months for royalties to pay out, even if I would have bought stuff in March, which is I believe when I put the first order in, you're not going to receive those payouts for 3 months. So you can see that picked up, and when I put some more money in 3 months later, probably in the May-June timeframe, that's when the royalty buckets or the royalty payments stepped up again 3 months later. So overall, let me give you my quick synopsis. Do I like Sonomo? Yes. It allows to diversify your portfolio away from stocks, real estate, to something else. Is this correlated to the stock market or to the economy? Sure, a little bit. But as the economy goes up or down, people's music listening habits most likely aren't going to change a whole lot. So this isn't correlated to people going out and buying the asset. It has to do with what they're spending on Spotify or YouTube Music or Amazon Music, something along those lines. So it should be somewhat uncorrelated to the economic conditions that we're facing in whatever country you're in. I do like it from that aspect. Do I trust it? I don't know that I do, to be honest. That's probably why I only have a couple $100 or a couple €100 of money in there. It's something that is unique, but what is holding them up? It's all based on the underlying value of the asset or of the company, Sonomo. And Sonomo does tout themselves to be very financially independent, but I just have to get comfortable with it, and so would you if this is the choice you decide to make. The execution on the orders has been good. The transfer of information, the available information is good. The payouts of dividends as they go through seems to be happening. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of fluctuation. So overall, I do like this. When you get into one of the pieces of music, actually let me show you this other piece. If we go into, let's say, this Van, I don't know how to pronounce that exactly. You can see the streams by platform. You can see the streams by country. Let's let that load. You can see the revenue by platform, and this is the thing that I like when you're looking at information. What kind of information do we need? Well, we need to know where the money's coming from, what's happening, and if you hover over each of these items, you can see Spotify by far on this particular song is making the money. It's generating the revenue. However, it has multiple other platforms that it's generating revenue from. These are all pretty cool. Revenue by country even. You can see where the money's coming from on different countries. And let's go out and do a 12-month look. And you can see that this particular one, South Africa, seems to be the driver. United States, others. Something that I'd be curious to see is if you bought a low revenue song and you went in and played that song on your Spotify account, would the revenue go up? I don't know. Is that ethical? Well, it doesn't seem to be unethical if you're listening to it. But these are all the different types of things that you can see on this platform. I do like that. I like the available information. So again, if you like the song and if you trust the platform, the Sonomo.com, this could be a good addition to your portfolio. Again, do your own research, and in my opinion, treat this as high risk. If you do that, it's a great alternative for you to go out and look at different stocks. So that's my take. Hopefully this is good for you. If this is the type of information that you like, or if this video has been helpful, please do give us a like down below. If you like this type of content, feel free to subscribe to the channel. And if you know someone who may benefit from this, please do consider sharing the video with them. Thanks for being here, and we'll see you on the next one.